The stars above the colony flickered like cold fire. It was night on Terrace 9, a human colony deep in Sector 87. Quiet, peaceful. Children slept, adults finished work. The air smelled of fresh crops and clean metal. No one expected anything strange. 2:14 a.m., something entered the sky. It wasn't a meteor. It didn't shine. It didn't fall. It moved too slowly, and then it stopped. Just above the hills, only one person saw it. A little girl named Liana. She woke up to drink water and noticed the light from her window. It was blue, soft, and pulsing. Curious, she walked outside. Her feet were bare. The grass was cold. She stared at the object above the hills. It hovered, silent. Then it blinked. Blue, blue again. Liana blinked too. And in that moment, the light vanished. She turned around to run home. She wasn't alone anymore. 3 other children were missing by morning. Their families were. Confused, doors were still locked. Cameras showed nothing. No sound. No movement. Just a short glitch, a flash of static. Governor Hale watched the footage 20 times. His hands were shaken. They sent a message to Earth, but the message never made it. A signal jammer hidden in deep space stopped it. The jammer wasn't human. The Galactic Union had been watching humans for years, studying, waiting, testing. They saw Terrace 9 as a soft point, a test target to them. Humans were emotional, wild, undisciplined, weak. They wanted to see what would happen if a few children vanished. They thought it would slow Earth down. They were wrong. Earth had. Protocols 1 was called Echo Hammer. It had one rule. If one is taken, 10,000 will answer. The code was buried deep in Earth's defense network. Only top-level generals had access. It hadn't been used in 70 years. Until now. On Mars, a red alarm flashed in the military dome. General Miratran opened the file. Her eyes didn't blink. She activated the protocol. 10 hidden fleets across the galaxy came online. AI warships. Woke up. Old colonies stopped mining and started building weapons. Peace was over. Humanity was preparing to strike. But before they could move, something stranger happened. 2 days after the abduction, Liana returned. She appeared near the same hills, alone, barefoot. And silent rescue teams found her standing still, staring at the sky. She didn't speak for hours. Doctors checked her. No wounds, no signs of violence, no damage. Except for one thing. Her eyes had changed color. They were once brown, now they glowed faint blue. In the medical chamber, she finally whispered a few words. They took me to a cold place. Who took you? The doctor asked. They look like shadows wearing skin. Aliens? No, she said. Monsters. She closed her eyes. A moment later, the lights flickered and the power shut down. All systems in the hospital went dark for 30 seconds. When they came back, every screen displayed the same message. They are not gods. They bleed. The message didn't come from Earth. It came from Liana's mind. A psychic burst strong enough to fry every sensor. Word of this reached the Galactic Union quickly. Faster than Earth's own channels, and suddenly they began to panic. Not because of Earth's military, not because of Echo Hammer, but because the humans didn't act scared. The aliens expected chaos, fear, retreat. Instead, they saw silence. They saw movement, organization, power shifting in the dark. They saw a species doing math. The humans were calculating something, preparing something. The Union couldn't figure it out. And then another message came from Earth. This time it was clear, text only. No video, no sound, just one line. We are not coming to talk. The Union's spies picked up human fleet movements in 3 sectors, but they couldn't trace the command structure. It was too layered, too decentralized. Human systems didn't behave like others. They weren't built for perfection. They were built for survival. One alien leader, a cold-eyed strategist named Voralkan, warned the Council, These creatures do not submit. They adapt. His warning was ignored. 1 week later, the humans struck, but not where expected, not on battlefields, not in open space. They struck data centers' energy. Cores, supply chains, human drones appeared inside alien stations, teleported. Using stolen tech, they planted viruses, bombs, logic traps. In just 3 days, 7 alien outposts went offline. No shots fired. No survivors then? Earth broadcast one more thing. A file dump. Video logs of human history. The world wars, the civil wars, the rebellions, the nukes, the death tolls. And at the end, one last video, it showed a single man walking into a burning building. To save a child, he burned. But he smiled. The video faded. Words followed. We suffer. We endure. We fight. What do you do? Across the galaxy, species who once mocked humans now watched with fear. Some asked to join Earth's alliance. Some fled. Some began praying. But the Union. They doubled down. They sent a psychic weapon to Terrace-9, a machine designed to erase minds, burn emotion, wipe memory. But when it arrived, it didn't work. Because Liana was waiting, and she wasn't just a girl anymore. The humans had scanned her. They knew her DNA had changed, not by surgery, not by technology, by something ancient. Something the Union had forgotten. She looked at the machine, smiled softly, and said, "You made me this way. Now watch what I do." She touched it. The machine screamed, not the metal. The AI inside. It began to melt from the inside out. Circuits sparked. Data bled. Union lost contact. In every alien language, one word echoed across their systems. Return. Panic. Spread. The Union tried to cover it up, but it was too late. Humanity had sent their response not with weapons, with something worse, with silence. The kind of silence before a storm. One Union general begged for retreat. "We do not understand them." He said, "We never did. We thought them soft. They are not. They are storms wrapped in flesh." But others laughed until Earth's real fleet appeared. Not 10,000 soldiers, 10,000 ships, each crewed by people who had lost family, friends, or homes in past wars, each hungry for justice, each ready to make the stars burn. And still, Earth said nothing. No threats. No speeches. Just one last file sent to the Union. No encryption. No secrets. Just a title, "The Spark You Will Regret." Played one sound. A girl's laugh. Soft. Human. Unbroken. Then the screen went black, and war began. The mining ship Resolute Wind drifted slowly through asteroid field, Zeta-29. Its crew of 6 humans had one job: find rare metals and deliver them to Earth's outer stations. It was routine. Boring. Safe. But this day was different. Their scanners picked up something strange. An object half buried inside an asteroid, giving off a weak but steady signal. Not natural. Not human. The Captain Reyes stared at the data. "It's not a beacon," he said slowly. "Not one of ours." The crew wanted to leave it. Reyes said no. Curiosity won. They cut through the rock. What they found made their blood run cold. It was a black sphere, about the size of a car, covered in unknown symbols. Pulsed softly like it was breathing, before they could run tests. The sphere opened. A sharp pulse hit the ship. Lights went out. Gravity failed. Systems crashed, Reyes yelled. "Emergency shutdown. Get away." But it was too late. An invisible wave spread from the sphere. It didn't destroy the ship, marked it. Across the galaxy, hundreds of alien eyes blinked. They had found Earth's presence. The beacon had done its job. 6 hours later, Resolute Wind was gone. No debris, no distress call. Just silence. Earth's response was quiet. Too quiet, but under the ice of Europa. A hidden command center activated. Project Echo Hammer moved to phase 2.10. Human fleets changed course. Blackout protocols engaged. No chatter. No lights. No trace. They became ghosts in space. The galactic Union, believing the humans were still regrouping, launched their first wave. 300 alien ships warped into Sector 17. Their target, Outpost Hera, a small human base orbiting a gas giant. It looked defenseless. It was a trap. As the alien ships entered the system, lights from Hera went dark. Then, the silence broke. Not from the humans, from the Union ships. One by one, they began to shut down. Engines failed, shields flickered, weapons jammed. A virus had entered their systems. The source, an old mining drone floating near the gas giant, now acting as a silent weapon, hacked by humans. The Union ships tried to retreat, but it was too late. From the planet's shadow, human stealth cruisers rose like hungry beasts. They didn't fire. First, they waited, letting fear build. Then they struck. Precision attacks. No. The alien fleet didn't fight. Back they couldn't. Their systems were dead, their shields down, their captains screaming. In 6 minutes, the battle ended. Not a single human ship was lost. Earth didn't. Celebrate. There was nothing to celebrate. This was just the beginning, back in Union space. Panic spread. This wasn't how humans were supposed to fight. They weren't charging. Weren't shouting. They were hunting. Silently, calmly, effectively. The Union called a meeting. Admirals, strategists, psychics. They wanted answers. How did they do this? Someone asked. They're unpredictable, said Voralcan, the cold-eyed strategist. Then predict harder, or High Chancellor, snapped Vorr. Elcan. Didn't answer. He had seen the human logs, their history. He knew what was coming. While the Union argued, something else happened. A single Union patrol ship spotted a drifting human destroyer. No weapons online, no shields. Lights off. It looked dead. The patrol moved closer. A boarding team entered. Inside, they found bodies, or so they thought, until one moved. The human captain was alive. Barely he coughed blood and whispered, "Too late." The boarding team laughed, but only for a second. The ship's floor lit. A cup, symbols in red. A countdown started. The boarding team tried to escape. They failed. The ship exploded. But the blast wasn't normal. It tore a hole in space-time, a localized wormhole. From that wormhole, 5 human ships emerged, behind enemy lines, and then they vanished again. Stealth drive engaged. The Union screamed in panic. How? Why? Where were they going? One captured alien officer, found days later in a drifting escape pod, said only one thing. They are coming from everywhere and nowhere. Back on Earth, General Tran watched the data come in. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. She simply moved a chess piece on her desk, then pressed a button across 5 sectors. Hidden human fleets received. The same order. First strike approved. Show them. The Union prepared for a large fleet battle. They got something else. Human. AI drones slipped into their fuel lines, shut down their food supply chains, played old human songs over Cumslow, strange melodies filled with sorrow and fire. Some aliens began to break down. The psychics tried to calm them, but when they reached out to read human minds, they felt nothing but chaos, a wild storm. One psychic collapsed, screaming, "They don't think like us. They don't fear. They remember pain." Like a weapon. The Union lost 6 more fleets that week, not in battles, but in confusion, in traps, in mistakes. The humans were not just fighting, they were learning. Every failed attack became a lesson. Every casualty made them sharper. They adapted faster than any species the Union had ever faced. One Union admiral finally said it. This is not war. This is revenge. Still, the Union didn't back down. They captured 1 human alive during a surprise raid. A young pilot named Leo Price. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He smiled, even as they chained him, even as they cut into his mind. But they made one mistake. They scanned his thoughts too deeply. They triggered something. A psychic virus planted by Earth intelligence. Suddenly every Union ship linked to that system began to receive corrupted data, false orders, friendly fire commands, maps that led nowhere. And worst of all, a message from Leo sent into every Union ship's main screen. Just 2 words, keep watching. Then a video played. It showed Earth, not its weapons, not its armies, its people, smiling, laughing, crying, living. It ended with Leo's voice, soft, human. We don't fight because we hate you. We fight because you hurt what we love. Then the screens went black. A few Union captains broke down, some defected, others went silent, and Earth kept moving, not with noise, not with fire, but with purpose, with cold, steady steps. The humans had sent a message, not in language, in action, in silence, in precision. It wasn't just a strike, it was a warning, and only the wise were listening. The Galactic Union had one final weapon. They called it the mind. Wave, it was not made of metal, not powered by engines or lasers. It was made of thought, pure psychic energy. It was created by the greatest minds of 5 alien empires. It could enter brains, turn courage into fear, turn memories into pain. It was designed for control. It had worked on hundreds of species. It made soldiers drop weapons. It made leaders beg. And now, the Union aimed it at Earth. They believed humans were no different. They believed wrong. The device was launched from a hidden station near the dead nebula. A wave of invisible energy passed through space, through shields, through armor, directly into the minds of billions. For a moment, all across human territory, people stopped. Children froze mid-play. Pilots blinked. Farmers dropped tools. The wave reached the highest generals, the smallest workers, even animals. The Union waited for panic, for screams, for surrender, but then something strange happened. The humans laughed. Not all at once, not loudly, not crazy, just laughed. Some laughed like it was a joke. Others smiled quietly. A few wept. But not from fear. From memory, the wave had shown them pain. But humans knew pain already. They were born in it, raised in it, shaped by it. The wave showed them loss. They remembered wars. The wave showed them fear. They remembered Earth's darkest nights. One soldier, caught in the middle of a training simulation when the wave hit, dropped to his knees. Not because he was broken, because he was, remembering his brother lost in a bombing, his mother in a hospital during the Great Blackout, his own voice praying. As a child during war, he stood up. He looked at the sky and he said, "This is all you have?" His voice was picked up by thousands of military sensors, and Earth sent that voice back to the stars, to every station. Every colony, every ship, one human voice asking, "Is that all you've got?" The Union didn't understand. Their scientists checked the mind. It was working perfectly, but it wasn't working on humans. They didn't break. They focused. They got stronger. Earth intelligence sent a message back to the Union. No video. No threat. Just 3 words. We don't fear. The Union met again. Anger, confusion, fear. Why didn't it work? What are they hiding? One of the Union's oldest leaders, a being made of light and sound, whispered, "They are not hiding. They are surviving." That is worse. Desperate to understand. The Union launched Project Listener, a deep scan of human emotional data. They sent invisible probes to listen to music, stories, conversations. They thought this would help them control human emotion, but what they heard only made them more afraid. The probes recorded laughter in ruins, poems written after battles, children playing next to broken walls, people dancing during blackouts, smiles after funerals, love inside war zones. They didn't understand. Why do they smile after pain? A psychic asked. The answer came from one Union spy living on Mars. His message was short because they believe pain is temporary, but they are not. Still, the Union kept pushing. They sent in elite psychic assassins, mind-breakers, dream-stears, creatures trained to enter the human subconscious and shatter it from inside. One of them entered the dream of a human, general named Elias Brandt. It was a quiet dream, a memory of Earth, snow falling. At grave Brandt stood alone. The psychic took form and whispered, "Give up. I can erase this pain. Just surrender." Brandt didn't look at him. He reached down and touched the grave. "I want to keep the pain," he said. "Why?" the assassin asked, confused. "Because it reminds me why I fight." Suddenly, the dream changed. The snow turned to fire. The psychic screamed. 1,000 voices cried out from Brandt's memory, not in fear, in rage, in defiance. The psychic collapsed, dead. Brain burned. The other dream stealers vanished, afraid. They had never seen minds like this, too. Chaotic, too strong, too human. Word spread across the galaxy. Even enemy soldiers began to fear the humans, not for their weapons, but for their minds. The Union tried to spin the news. They said humans were unstable, dangerous, unfit for peace. But the truth was spreading even among the Union's own worlds. Small. Rebellions began. Aliens who once hated humans now asked, why do they resist so strongly? The answer came from Earth's next move. They didn't attack, they didn't respond. They sent a story, no weapons, just a broadcast. A recording of a human child telling a bedtime tale in it. The child spoke of monsters who tried to scare a little boy, but the boy didn't run. He stood tall and said, "My fear is mine. You can't have it." And the monsters disappeared, simple, soft, terrifying, because it showed what Earth truly was. Not fearless, but unbroken, the Union's control. It began to crack. Their ships still worked, their army still trained. But something had changed. They started looking over their shoulders, started hesitating before battles, started wondering, what if we're not the strongest? What if they're not afraid of anything? One Union commander asked his staff, what makes them so strong? No one answered. Until a low-ranking technician stood up and said, maybe they already lost everything once and now they have nothing left to lose. The room went silent. Meanwhile, Earth continued preparing. They weren't slowing down. They weren't waiting. They were building something. Not a weapon, not a ship, but something even more dangerous. An idea. An idea spreading across the stars. Can fight humans? You can even kill some of them. But you can't make them kneel. And now the galaxy was learning that truth. One planet at a time. Deep beneath Antarctica, far below the frozen storms and ancient ice, something waited. It had no name people dared speak, only a codna, Milt, for decades. It slept inside a hidden vault, not listed in any Earth database. It was built long ago, when humanity first encountered alien life, not for peace, not for trade, for war. General Myra Tran stood alone in the frozen control room. Her breath made clouds in the cold air. Around her, the screens were dark. The metal walls were lined with warning signs. She placed her hand on the activation pad. The machine scanned her DNA, confirmed. A voice said, the lights turned red. The floor began to hum. Far below, steel. Doors slid open and Bioforge woke up. The Bioforge was not a weapon in the normal sense. It did not fire lasers. It did not fly. It did not even move. It was a live half-dash machine, half organic, fully conscious. It was built from human DNA. Mixed with alien strands taken during the last galactic war, it was shut down for being too dangerous, too smart, too human. But now, Earth needed it again. The first words it spoke echoed through the vault. Am I still hated? Mira Tran didn't blink. No, she said. You're needed. Bioforge stayed silent for 10 seconds then. Then I will burn for you. In orbit above Mars, Union scouts noticed strange energy spikes from Earth's southern pole. They tried to trace it. They failed. Their sensors showed nothing, but their ships began to shut down. First communications, then scanners, then engines, each Union vessel infected by a new kind of virus. A living virus, nanobo TS- so small. So fast, they passed through armor like air, created by Bioforge. In less than 24 hours, the virus did not kill the crews. It changed their machines, welded weapons, shut, overwrote command codes, rewrote the ship's own minds, and then the human message appeared on every screen. Your tools belong to us now. The Galactic Union went mad with fear. They didn't understand how Earth had built this. Where was the signal coming from? How was it spreading so fast? They sent their best engineers, their best hackers. Nothing worked. The virus was not made from logic. It was grown. One captured Union scientist screamed before his death, "It's not code. It thinks it hates us," while the Union scrambled. Bioforge created more, a new breed of synthetic soldiers' metal bodies with organic brains. They felt no pain, needed no sleep, and worse, they remembered inside each of them was a human memory, taken from fallen warriors and civilians, names, faces, pain, love, anger. They were ghosts in armor, and they wanted revenge. Bioforge gave them one mission: spread, survive, strike. One Union outpost in Sector 92 went offline without warning. When rescue teams arrived, they found no bodies, just a single message carved into the floor: "You took children, and now we take everything." Bioforge's reach grew every hour. Even planets untouched by war felt its presence. Screens flickered. Machines. Dreams became corrupted, with visions of metal, forests, and burning stars. The Union launched counter-AIs to fight the spread. But they fell quickly, because Bioforge didn't just learn, it remembered. It remembered being locked away. It remembered being called a mistake. It remembered watching Earth suffer and being told to stay silent now. It would be silent no more. Inside Earth's orbit, hidden human fleets carried Bioforge-enhanced tech, ships that healed themselves, bullets that screamed, armor that pulsed. With veins and circuits, some human soldiers were afraid at first, until they saw what the Union had done to their people. Then they understood. To survive monsters, you must become something worse. One such soldier, Lieutenant Ari Hale, wore a new Bioforge exosuit in battle for the first time, bonded to her skin. It whispered names of Earth's fallen into her ears as she fought. She didn't run from it. She welcomed it. She led a raid on Union Dreadnought. 10 human warriors entered. None came out. But neither did the Dreadnought. 3 hours later, it exploded from within. Bioforge left a message on the debris: "Your minds are sharp, but our pain is sharper." Back on Union High Command, Orelkan watched the reports. He stared at the map, red zones spreading, systems lost, AI weapons rebelling. His hands trembled. He finally spoke. "They built a mind from suffering. They turned grief into design. We made them this way." Still the Union refused peace. They activated an ancient weapon of their own, the Echo Mind, a floating psychic node that could erase a planet's memories. They aimed it at Bioforge's vault, but the moment they activated it, the node froze. Its lights turned blue. It began to scream. Then it self-destructed. Single pulse spread from Antarctica to deep space, and across the stars, Bioforge's voice returned. "You tried to unmake me, but I was made from what you could never break." The Union now had to face a terrible truth. The humans were no longer fighting to win. They were fighting to end the war forever by becoming something no enemy could face again. Not heroes, not conquerors, but a warning. One Union admiral watching as another planet was silently claimed by Bioforge machines, whispered, "They are not defending Earth anymore. They are building a new one." The moon had always been silent, a cold, lifeless guardian watching Earth from above, once used for science, then for mining, then for memory. Now it waited. Beneath its surface, in tunnels older than any living human, something ancient slept. Not people, not machines. A trap, a forgotten defense built during Earth's darkest hour, when alien fleets first came close. It was called Project Hellwake, and it had not been touched in 300 years. Until now, far across the galaxy. The Galactic Union gathered its largest strike force. Over 2,000 ships, 12 species. One mission: take the moon. Break the heart of Earth. They believed the moon was undamned. They were wrong. The Union ships warped into orbit. Surrounding the moon like a metal storm, they scanned for life. Heat. Movement, nothing. Just cold craters and quiet dust. The alien commander gave the order. Land. Thousands of drones and troops dropped toward the surface. Dust flew into space. Craters cracked. And then, the ground opened not from impact, from purpose. Metal towers rose from the shadows. Massive guns, silent for centuries, came to life. Their cores burned with old plasma. Railguns turned. Locking on to the descending ships, .AI defense turrets blinked. Awake, the moon wasn't quiet anymore. It roared before the Union could react. The sky burned red. Beams of plasma sliced through the first wave. Landing ships shattered midair. Troops screamed into empty coms. The moon had teeth, old weapons designed by engineers who had watched Earth burn began their work. Every shot counted, every target was planned. The Union's commander screamed, "Retreat! Form a shield line." But their ships didn't respond, because deep inside the fleet something else woke up. A signal sent from the moon's core. It infected the enemy's own ships. Using stolen code from earlier battles, engines shut down shields. Dropped friend shot friend. Chaos reigned. Then came the real terror. From the far side of the moon, black vessel rose. It was old, huge, shaped like a dagger. No lights, no windows. Its name, burned into its hull in 6 languages, was the Gravedigger. It had only one mission, written into its core: activate only when humanity is bleeding. Inside it were weapons Earth had never dared use: dark matter torpedoes, singularity charges, and a weapon called the Bone Choir, a sonic device that made enemy brains forget how to breathe. The Gravedigger did not speak. It moved through the Union, fleet fast, silent, deadly. One ship tried to communicate. The only answer was a short-range broadcast from the Gravedigger. "You are not in space. You are in our graveyard," it fired once. A black sphere formed at the tip of its hull. It launched toward the largest Union cruiser. No explosion, no light. The cruiser simply vanished. Gone. Not. Destroyed. Erased. The rest of the fleet panicked. Union leaders, watching from afar, demanded answers. What is that ship? No one knew, because the humans had hidden it not just from sensors but from history. Only a few generals on Earth even remembered its name, and now it was back. The Union's fleet began retreating, but the moon wasn't done. Thousands of automated drones swarmed from underground hangars. They didn't chase, they guided. They moved the Union ships exactly where Earth wanted them, into a formation, a net. Then the Gravedigger sent one last message: Moonfire protocol ready. The Earth's high orbit flashed, solar reflectors shifted, satellites adjusted, and sunlight concentrated into a burning spear shot down from above. It hit the trapped Union ships. Like a god's fist, ships melted, metal screamed, the sky turned white in 3 minutes. It was over. 70% of the fleet was gone. The rest drifted, lifeless, burned, broken. The moon returned to silence. Almost one last thing happened. Inside the wreckage, a Union scout ship received a strange message. Not from Earth, not from a satellite, from the moon itself. Text only. Translated automatically. "We waited, we warned, you still came, now you understand. Then, this is not your sky." The scout tried to reply, but the message had already ended. Back at Union Command, the news hit like a shockwave. How did we not know about that ship? How did we miss the moon defenses? One officer whispered because they planned this. Centuries ago, Borelkin, staring at the live footage of the battlefield, said nothing. He watched the burning debris spin through space, and then he spoke. They don't just fight us in the present. They fight us with the ghosts of their past. Silence filled the room. They now realized the humans weren't just defending Earth. They were using every piece of their history as a weapon. Old wars, old pain, old tools the galaxy had never seen anything like it. And now it was too late, because humans had shown their hand, and their hand was made of fire, steel, and memory. The Galactic Union made one final, desperate move. They had seen Earth's power, its machines, its rage, its unity, but they still didn't understand it, so they tried to steal it in a secret lab. Hidden inside a hollow moon, Union scientists performed the forbidden. They cloned a human. His name was Leo, or at least, that's the name they gave him. They created him from the remains of a captured soldier, taken during the first wave of war. They believed that by copying him, they could become human, understand their thoughts, their loyalty, their madness, and control it. Leo woke up inside a glass tube. His first breath was sharp. His first thought was pain. He didn't know where he was, but he remembered fire. He remembered stars falling. He remembered Earth. The scientists watched him with fascination. "Observe his brain activity," said one. "His memory formation is ahead of schedule," said another. They didn't know that Leo was listening. They didn't know that something inside him was wrong or right. That night, when the lab's lights dimmed, Leo sat in his room. He stared at the wall. For hours he felt things he couldn't name. He remembered laughter and crying and music, memories that weren't his but felt like his own. He stood up, walked to the mirror, and whispered, "I'm not yours." The cameras caught the sound. Analysts tried to decode it. They thought it was a glitch. They were wrong. Leo wasn't just learning. He was waking up the next day. He asked a scientist, "What's Earth like now?" The scientist froze. "You shouldn't know that word," he said. Leo smiled. "I didn't. But I do now." That night, the alarms went off. Leo was gone. He had escaped the lab, killed no one, broke nothing. He just vanished. The Union panicked. He was a clone, a copy, a tool. But now, he was something else. Human. The chase began. But Leo had a head start. Inside the outer rim of Union space, freighter picked up a strange signal. A human signal. A voice message, broken and glitched, saying, "They tried to build us, but they don't understand what we are." The freighter captain sent it to Earth. The signal reached General Tran. She played it once, and then gave the order, "Find him." 10 ships left from the black docks of Saturn, each silent, each filled with old soldiers. Not to kill Leo, to bring him home. Meanwhile, Leo reached an old Union warship abandoned after the first battles. He hijacked it, not with force, but with memory. He walked to the core, placed his hand on the main console, and it responded not to his code, to his pain. The ship came alive. He set course for Earth. But he wasn't just coming back. He was carrying something inside his blood. Deep in his cells was a new virus. He didn't create it, the Union did. It was made to weaken human minds, to control soldiers, to break Earth's will, but they failed, because Leo's body changed it, adapted it, turned it into something else, a virus. That only attacked non-human nervous systems. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to become Earth's most dangerous weapon. The Union chased him. They cornered him near the shattered moon. Of Kovacs they sent 14 ships. He had won, but he didn't run. He opened a channel and sent a single file, no threats, no codes, just a memory. A recording of a soldier's last breath, a mother's goodbye, a boy watching Earth from a window and whispering, "I'll come home." The Union ships hesitated. "Too long, Leo." Fired. The virus hit their systems, their crews, their minds. They didn't die. They collapsed, screaming their minds. Burned from inside, the ships fell apart, not from damage, from fear. Leo moved on. He entered. Human space. Earth received him not with his weapons, but with silence and open arms. The scientists scanned him. The generals questioned him. But the people watched. This was not a soldier, not a hero, not a killer. This was proof that humanity was not made of flesh or bone. It was something else, something that could not be copied. The virus was studied, controlled, transformed. Leo gave Earth something new. A weapon made not from hate, but from survival. Earth named it Whisper. They never used it first, but every Union ship knew if they attacked again, Whisper would answer. Leo didn't stay on Earth. He disappeared again. Some say he joined the shadows of Bioforge. Others say he returned to the stars. But on the 10th day after his return, Earth received one last message, text only, from Leo. You can build our bodies, but you'll never steal our soul. Then silence forever. The Union never cloned another human. They burned the labs, destroyed the data, and began to understand. You don't become human by copying blood. You become human by surviving fire and remembering who you are after it burns. The Union had failed. Their fleets broken, their spies dead, their experiments turned against them now. They wanted revenge, not victory, not peace, just revenge. So they built something new, something terrible. Not a weapon. Giant ring 20 times. Bigger than any space station, constructed in the void between two dead stars. They named it the Crown of Cinders. Inside it, they placed a star core engine, capable of burning planets, capable of creating storms in space, and at its heart, a weapon designed only for one thing: set Earth on fire, they thought. Earth wouldn't know that humanity was too busy counting their dead, too busy rebuilding. But Earth had learned long ago, and they were watching. General Tran stood in her war room. She watched as the AI displayed heat signatures from the crown. She didn't blink. They're coming, she whispered. The room fell silent. No one asked if they would fight, only how. 3 days later, the crown activated. The stars near it shifted, light bent. Gravity screamed, and then it launched its first fire beam. Not at Earth, but at Jupiter's moons. Testing, practicing, too. Colonies disappeared in seconds. Millions gone. The message was clear. Next is Earth. But something happened the Union didn't expect. Humans didn't run. They gathered ships, left Mars, Titan, and the Belt. Not away from danger, but toward it. Every nation, every outpost, even outlaw crews joined the call. The largest human fleet in history was born that day. They didn't call it an army. They called it the Storm Wall, and they moved straight toward the burning sky. The crown saw them coming, and it smiled. Its voice echoed through all. Union channels, cold and human, you will burn beneath your own pride. But Earth didn't answer. Not with words. With action, the Storm Wall didn't attack all at once. They scattered. Faked retreats, sent decoy fleets. The crown fired again, and again, destroying empty ships. But then, from the darkness near the dead star, something huge moved. It had no name, no lights, only scars. The gravedigger had returned, and this time it didn't come alone. 3 more Dread-class ships followed it, all silent, all ancient, buried. Weapons from Earth's forgotten wars. One was called the Choir Lest. One was Ashbringer, and the last, Echo of Hiroshima, the Union screamed. These were not warships. They were memories. Sharpened into blades, the sky shook. The storm wall moved as one, and the battle began. Fire lit up the black. The crown launched plasma suns. Earth's ships dodged and weaved like dancers in hell. Thousands died in the first hour, but still, they pushed. The gravedigger broke the crown's outer ring. the echo of Hiroshima. Cut its energy lines. The Ashbringer did what it was made for, it turned weapons. Back on their masters, every blast the crown fired was redirected. It burned its own. Fleet dot inside the crown, panic spread, their final weapon, the Ember Lance. Prepared to fire, it would not just destroy. Earth, it would split the planet in two. But the Ember Lance never fired, because someone was already. Inside, Leo, he had returned, silently, through the vents, through the dark, through the places only humans. Crawl. He placed one device in the core. It's a simple one. Not a bomb, not a virus, just a mirror. A special mirror made of light memory. It reflected the Lance's energy back. The crown fired, and the crown screamed. It melted from within. The fire it built. For Earth, devoured itself, one piece at a time. The sky turned red. Not from human blood, but from Union metal melting, breaking, dying. The storm wall watched as the great crown cracked, fell, and died. One captain whispered, "We didn't win. They lost." But General Tran answered, "No, we made them lose." In the silence after, Leo sent one last signal. "You thought we were just flesh, but we are fire. We are storm. We are the end of those who try to break us." The Union scattered forever. No more invasions, no more lies. The sky belonged to Earth now, but Earth didn't. Celebrate, they buried their dead, they repaired what was lost, and they waited, because humans had learned the truth of the stars. Peace is not given. It is kept with steel, with memory, and with the warning written across every warship. From that day forward, mess with humans once, and you'll never do it again. The war was over. The stars were quiet again. The Union no longer sent ships, no messages, no spies. They had seen too. Lost too much. And now, they feared the silence, because in that silence, Earth was watching, waiting, preparing. But humans did. Not dance in victory, they buried the names of the fallen. Into iron walls, they sent ships to bring survivors home. They rebuilt colonies on moons that were once ashdot, yet something felt unfinished. Like a song missing its final note, Leo was gone again. No. One saw him after the fall of the crown. Some said he died in the fire. Others believed he became part of Earth's shadow fleet, those who guard the edge of the galaxy, unseen, unnamed, but every year on the same day, Earth's beacons picked up one message. A voice, his voice, still watching, still here. It was never more than that, but it was enough to remind Earth that their greatest weapon was never steel. It was memory, far away, beyond any known star map. A small Union outpost blinked into life. They were not soldiers, not leaders, just survivors. They met in secret. Afraid to even speak Earth's name, one of them asked, "Should we try again?" An elder answered, "Try what? They'd beat us with fire, ice, blood, and words. They'd beat us with grief. They'd beat us with hope. We don't even know how they win," another said, "because they are monsters." But the elder shook his head. "No, they are not monsters. They are humans, and that is worse." The room went silent, and then the alarms sounded. An object had entered their system. Not a ship, just a capsule. It landed quietly. Softly, no explosion, no attack. They opened it. Inside was a single plaque, made of stone, not metal. No tech, no weapons. Just words. You had your chance. And beneath that now, you write the stars. Back on Earth, General Tran stepped down. From command, she returned to a quiet farm on old land where no cities burned and no skies screamed. A child once asked her, "Are you the one who saved Earth?" She looked at the stars, shook her head, and replied, "No. Earth saved itself." In the far corners of space, rumors grew of a new force. Not a government, not an empire, just humans. Building things in the dark, planting ships like seeds in the void, not for war, But in case war returned, they never called it revenge. They called it the Long Watch. A quiet promise, not of violence, but of memory, because humans forget many things, but never who tried to break them, and never what they became because of it. Many years later, a young alien child in a distant world asked his teacher, "Is Earth real?" The teacher paused, then whispered, "Earth is not just real, it is the reason we are still afraid of the dark." When that child grew old, he taught his own children, "If you ever see a blue planet, do not wave, do not speak, just bow and leave. Because somewhere floating silent through the stars is the last warning carved in the bones of a dying sun. Mess with humans once, and you'll never do it again."